Hello gamers, I've done a bunch of work rearranging my game room over the last few weeks, so I thought it was time to do an updated game room tour. So starting here on the left side of the game room, bottom shelf, my Game Wave, my Panasonic 3DO, then my ColecoVision and Intellivision flashbacks. The Intellivision's back behind the ColecoVision there. Up from here is my 360 collection, my favorite system of last gen, and then in the corner is a few more Game Wave games. Onto my Super Nintendo games. I don't have a huge collection, but I've got some decent games, and then some World of Nintendo figures from the Legend of Zelda series. Now, I do have boxes for a lot of my Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES stuff, but I don't have room to display it, so you don't see them. It's just cartridge only. Here we've got PlayStation, TurboGrafx, Saturn, and a Dreamcast. And then if I move the Monkey Ball figure here, maybe through the glare you can make out a few more of the games for the Saturn and Dreamcast. Top shelf is my Atari shelf. I've got my Jaguar box, a 5200 box, a couple of them, and then a 2600 controller and Kangaroo, just a 2600 game that I love from a kid, and then a Mario Kart 8 flag. On the very top, some boxed NES accessories, and then right next to that is kind of my Sega shelf, I guess. Just some box accessories and Saturn and Dreamcast box, along with my Master System, which all sits on top of my PlayStation 3 collection. Not a huge collection. I wasn't really into the PlayStation 3. Been picking up more clearance games for it recently though. And then original PlayStation or original Xbox games and PlayStation 2 games here. Got the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, which is great for the original Xbox, and onto my GameCube collection and my Wii collection, which is getting pretty large at this point. Those games are getting very cheap. And there's my Toad amiibo. And then on top of all of that, I got a love-hate relationship with amiibos. I've got a few of note here, though. Rosalina, Lucario, and Pit are my more uncommon ones. And Mega Man and Sonic, they're just two of my favorites all around, even though they're not hard to get, I know. They're very cool figures. A couple of NES Remix posters. I picked those up at Midwest Gaming Classics. Thought they looked good, so I put them in frames. I got an iCade here, and then sitting on that, I've got my copy of Hotel Mario for the Philips CDI. Just kind of neat. You don't come across CDI stuff very often. My tube television for my retro stuff here, and then I've got hooked up a 64, which I painted, obviously custom painted. GameCube with Game Boy player, which I use that mainly for. The Dreamcast Sports, Jaguar, Wii, NES top loader, TurboGrafx 16, Neo Geo X, the Saturn, PlayStation 2, and Xbox, and then my Retron 3, which I use as a space saver. So not a bad setup there. And then I've got my Wii U box and my Smash Brothers, I don't know, little section there. I got some flyers and a button along with a box. Thought it looked kind of cool. N64 games, too deep there, and then my rather small 3DO collection. Famicom Disk System game. If you watched my Midwest Gaming Classic video, you saw me pick that up. My Jaguar collection, and my Genesis carts. And this all sits next to my NES collection. I've got some games down there in the bottom of the corner that I haven't alphabetized and put into the shelf yet. I just need to get around to doing that. And I do have a lot of NES games. I'm over 300 at this point. My favorite system to collect for, and the one that I'm the fondest of, I guess, like a lot of people. Got some handheld systems up here. A couple original Game Boys, my Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Boy Advance, Virtual Boy, some Hot Wheels, Sega cars, and some little Nintendo figures there, and my Halo Reach statue, or model, I guess. Neo Geo X Gold box, Destiny box, and Sunset Overdrive Xbox One, just because I thought they looked good there. Now below the sofa I keep these bins full of controllers and accessories. Normally they're tucked away, I just pulled them out for this tour here. My Link Between Worlds poster set, and then up above that I've got some arcade marquees, eSWAT, Combat Tribes, and Commando. So we can just do a quick pan across the room again here so you can see everything all together and not just pieced out and up close. I think it turned out pretty good, my rearranging. I'm pretty much maxed out on space at this point, but I'm happy with how it looks. Alright, so we stepped just outside my game room. This is my modern gaming setup. Downstairs living room here, I've got a 52-inch TV, and then below that I've got these bins. And I keep the one full of my controllers and headsets down here. And then just around the corner to this, I mentioned in the last game room tour, when we bought this house, there was this door in the wall here. Went to nothing. It was just a hole in the wall with a door. I put a shelf in. This allows me to set up my systems and run all the wiring behind the walls, so I have a nice clean look in the living room. So in here, I've got my Wii U. And then below that is my 360, PlayStation 3, and then my PlayStation 4, which all sits on top of this slide-out shelf I put on sliders, so I can put all my games in there. So I got my Wii U, Xbox One, and PS4 games in there. This was full last time, but since I moved the 360 and PS3 games out, I've got a lot more space. Now you're probably wondering where my Xbox One is. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't stand vertically and read discs. So back to the game room, I have a utility closet which goes to my furnace. But just to the side of that, I have my Xbox One sitting back there on a little shelf just to keep it out of the way and allows me to keep it hooked up and all the wiring clean. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for checking it out.